Good evening and thank you for joining us. Starry Lee, a standing committee member of the National People's Congress, said she made a proposal to the central government to increase the allowance for duty-free shopping for mainland tourists visiting the SAR. Lee just returned from an NPC meeting in Beijing. Mimbo Sengai reports.
Currently, mainlanders can only bring back personal goods from outside the mainland worth no more than 5,000 yuan in accordance with its customs laws. If they exceed this limit, a tax must be paid. Some mainland tourists in Hong Kong think the 5,000 yuan limit is not enough. They would like to buy goods worth more than that. In Hainan province, the amount of offshore tax-free shopping per person annually was adjusted to 10,000 RMB 3 years ago. Speaking to the press today, Starry Lee, a member of the Standing Committee of the National People's Congress, said some Hong Kong NBC delegates proposed to the central authorities an increase in the duty-free allowance for mainland travelers from 5,000 yuan to 30,000 yuan. Lee said the proposed allowance would encourage mainlanders to spend. The Hong Kong NBC members put forward other proposals during the meeting in Beijing early this week, including a 24-hour operation at Hernyu Wai Control Point and Shenzhen Bayport. Lee said the suggested measures are important for attracting tourists. She added the SAR should welcome tourists from all over the world and not just mainlanders. Mimos 9, TVB News.
Today is the first day of 3 in the New Year's long weekend, with the mainland remaining the top travel destination for locals during the holiday. Some residents entered the mainland via the Hernyu Wai Control Point in recent days in a bid to visit newly available stations on the Shenzhen Metro line. Timothy Lee tells us more.
The mainland is the top travel option for many Hong Kongers to spend their 3-day-long New Year holiday. This morning, many travelers could be seen entering Shenzhen via the Hernyu Wai Control Point Liantang Port, with many of them eager to try out the newly updated Line 8 of the Shenzhen Metro. This woman said she is traveling to Damesha Beach and that she was attracted to the area by its natural scenery. While this man said he wanted to enjoy the restaurants in the area, but noted prices there are more expensive. Travelers can use the Shenzhen Metro, which is located just 5 minutes away from the Hernyu Wai Control Point. Passengers can now use the 4 new stations in the recent extension of Line 8 of the Shenzhen Metro. They include Yantianshu, Damesha, and Xiaomeisha stations. In the first weekend since its opening, Damesha station is already fully packed. Most people came along with their families to visit the beaches. The Line 8 extension showcases an ocean theme, with marine life and the color blue prominently featured within the station's interior. This man said food and beverage in the area is much cheaper than in Hong Kong. Those departing from the station's escalator will be treated to a seaside view the moment they step out of the station. Children can also enjoy a number of sand slides offered in the area. Some visitors said they have waited for a long time for the metro extension and that they only decided to visit the beach after many years because of the ease of transport. Timothy Lee, TVB News.
At least 24 Cathay Pacific flights were cancelled today as the recent string of cancellations continues. Some in the tourism sector criticize the flagship carrier's actions as damaging to Hong Kong's image as an aviation hub. Most cancelled flights today were short-haul between the SAR and Southeast Asia, while affected long-haul flights included destinations such as Australia. The airline earlier said the cancellations were primarily caused by pilots becoming sick owing to the flu season. Pilots' union representatives noted the root of the problem was a manpower shortage. The Chinese embassy in the UK has condemned former student activist Tony Chung for seeking political asylum in the country after fleeing Hong Kong. In a statement, a Chinese embassy spokesperson said, "All laws in Hong Kong must be observed and those who break the law must be held accountable." The statement also urged the UK to bring Chung to justice promptly and repatriate him to Hong Kong. Chung was a former convener of a pro-independence group, Student Localism. He was sentenced to prison in 2021 for secession and money laundering. After being released in June, the Correctional Services Department put him under a 1 year of supervision. The Construction Industry Council said authorities must enhance safety awareness for workers. It comes after a year when 29 workers died in construction-related accidents. Chairman of the Construction Industry Council, Thomas Ho, said today that half the construction site accidents could have been avoided. He believed those accidents were caused by insufficient risk assessments and safety measures. He said the council has started training junior workers to enhance their safety awareness. Russia drew strong criticism from the United Nations Security Council for its massive missile and drone attacks against Ukraine. Most of the 15 council members, including the United States, France, and Britain, condemned the attacks. China's deputy permanent representative to the UN, Geng Shuang, did not condemn the attacks and called for a political solution to the war in Ukraine. Russia's UN ambassador Vasily Nebenzia noted Moscow said Ukraine's air defense systems being stationed close to civilian infrastructure were responsible for the casualties. The UN's Assistant Secretary General Khaled Kiari reiterated the body's call for a sustainable, peaceful solution to the conflict.
Mr. President, tragically 2023 is ending as it began, with devastating violence against the people of Ukraine. Once again, Ukrainians are forced to spend holidays seeking shelter, clearing the rubble and burying the dead amidst freezing temperatures. As we look to the new year in the hope of avoiding further escalation, we recall the Secretary General's appeal to all concerned to do their part to help lay the foundation for sustainable peace in Ukraine, in accordance with the UN Charter, international law, and resolution of the General Assembly. Thank you.
While Russia's attacks on Ukraine are the focus of UN debate, Moscow authorities are urging residents to support its armed forces. They want Russians to send New Year presents to soldiers on the front lines in Ukraine and those who live in the Russia-held regions. 29 collection stations across the capital have been launched within the Moscow Helps project. Muscovites hand over gifts such as warm clothes, hygiene goods, and other necessities. Many bring hand-knitted items. One resident said it is important that the men who go to the front lines to fight must be warm and cozy. This against the background since the start of the conflict. A number of Russians have expressed their opposition to the war in Ukraine. Welcome back. A baby has been dramatically rescued from the rubble after an Israeli attack in the south of Gaza, as fierce fighting continued between Israel and Hamas. The border with Egypt is the main passage for aid, and there is concern at the UN that the amount of essential supplies reaching the strip is inadequate. A warning some may find some images in David Garrett's story distressing.
Men work frantically to rescue a victim trapped under the rubble. It's a delicate operation, the smallest and most fragile caught up in the war. Baby Mariam Abu Akal was freed from the fallout of an Israeli airstrike. Rescuers managed to get to her in time. Her family home was among those hit. The latest raids and fighting in southern Gaza killed 20 and wounded dozens. Israel blames Hamas for using civilians as shields. The United Nations estimates between 100,000 and 150,000 have fled south. Drones fly over tents, providing shots of makeshift homes that stretch for miles. Many have come from Khan Yunis, where there has been intense fighting. Getting aid to those in tents has been the major stumbling block for a ceasefire. Israel insists on checking all trucks going into Gaza. There is mounting international pressure on Israel to do more. Geng Shuang, China's deputy permanent representative to the United Nations, urged Israel to stop indiscriminate military attacks and create conditions for humanitarian agencies to provide aid. Israel say it's not their fault and distribution congestion is slowing the process.
Israel continues to have excess capacity for the inspection and passage of aid trucks into Gaza, and we place no limit on the amount of humanitarian supplies which can enter the strip.
With so many displaced in Gaza, an Israeli academic admits it will be difficult to find solutions in the future.
If we are not going to take the decisions that we need to take, us and the Palestinians, nothing will happen. We'll continue to fight each other. The Palestinians need to get decisions about their approach to Israel. The Israeli side need to understand that there is people in this area, that they deserve independence.
Argentina has announced that it will not join the Brics bloc of major developing economies. It is the latest in a dramatic shift in foreign and economic policies by Argentina's new far-right populist president, Javier Milei. Brics is an alliance of 11 countries founded by Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. In a letter addressed to Brics leaders, Milei said the moment was not opportune for Argentina, which was set to join on January 1, 2024. The country is reeling from a deepening economic crisis. Milei's predecessor, Alberto Fernandez, felt joining Brics would help to reach new markets. 17 giant pandas have returned to China during the last 12 months. They have come from other parts of Asia, including Japan, as well as Europe and America. A total of 32 cubs have been born overseas as part of a research agreement between Beijing and 20 nations. The bears are usually sent to live in China before their 4th birthday. More than 50 giant pandas are still in zoos abroad. Hong Kong is one of the world's top financial centers with a fast developing fintech industry. The know-how and experience not only benefit the city, but also help the development of other regional markets, including countries taking part in the Belt and Road Initiative. In the 7th and concluding part of our Connecting Indonesia series, TVB News reports how a Hong Kong digital bank and a local partner set up an innovative digital bank in the archipelago and the insights gained from the joint venture. Indonesia is a country that boasts a population of over 270 million people with a median age of 30 years old. But most of its residents either do not use a bank or make only limited use of banking services. Among those setting their sights on tapping the massive banking market potential in Indonesia is this very first digital bank in Hong Kong. In partnership with a large local conglomerate, the Hong Kong company transformed an Indonesian commercial bank into a new digital bank.
Young Indonesians really live online. They buy things, they order food, order groceries, do everything online.
As CEO Simon Leung said, his bank can export Hong Kong's homegrown financial technology and expertise to Indonesia, which is taking part in China's Belt and Road Initiative.
And when we work with Southeast Asian counterparts, they want us to bring that know-how to them. They want us to show them how actually mainland China has grown from where they were 20 years ago to where they are today, and how Hong Kong has helped them in that progression.
One of the main strategies is targeting the slash economy. Slashers are those with multiple jobs or business ventures at the same time.
Young Indonesians, they're very hopeful about the economy, about their future, and they all want to make more money. So the interesting characteristics is they may be employee in the daytime, they are KOL at night, they sell e-commerce, sell goods on e-commerce site on the weekend.
The digital bank has rolled out e-wallet services allowing users to create up to 20 pockets to manage and oversee their disparate sidekicks' finances in one go. Another strategy is the use of clients' online social network. The bank offers higher interest rates for savings to account holders if they team up with family and friends in using the service. Leung said it is important to show the company's commitment to supporting Indonesia's economy, creating a win-win situation for both.
They want to know that we're not in for the quick buck. We are here to invest and grow the economy and increase employment with them together.
The fintech group CEO also told us he hopes that they could support Indonesia's efforts to improve the financial literacy of its population, but also the financial services ecosystem and infrastructure with our Hong Kong experience. Jackie Lin, TVB News. And that's the news. Thank you for watching.